The first thing we need to do is download a CentOS VDI or Virtual Disk Image. Open up a web browser and visit linuxtrainingacademy.com/VDI. Click on the CentOS 7 VDI download link. This is a rather large file, so this will take several minutes to download. Once the download is completed, we need to extract the contents of the archive. First, you're going to navigate to the folder where you save the download. This is typically your downloads folder. I'm on a Mac, so I'm just going to double-click on the archive to extract its contents. Remember that this process was covered in an earlier video, one for Mac users and another one for Windows users. Once the contents of the archive have been extracted, you'll notice a new folder. You can click on that folder and you'll see one file in that folder, and we'll be using that in just a second. So now that we have our virtual disk image downloaded and extracted, we'll start the VirtualBox application. Next, we'll create a new container or virtual machine for our CentOS operating system installation by clicking on New. You can see here that it asks you for a few bits of information: the name, the type, and the version. I'm going to name my virtual machine CentOS Desktop. As I typed that in, VirtualBox automatically selected Linux as the type and Red Hat as the version. If it didn't, we could simply use the drop-down boxes and make the appropriate selections. So once we have our name, our type, and our version set, we can click on Continue. The minimum amount of RAM recommended for CentOS is 1024 megabytes or 1 gigabyte. I have plenty of RAM on my system, so I'm going to dedicate about half of my resources to this virtual machine. So I'll use 8192 megabytes or 8 gigabytes. Next, we'll click on Continue. On this screen, we want to click on Use an existing virtual hard disk file. Now we're going to click on the folder icon and navigate to where we downloaded our disk image. And here it's in my Downloads folder. And then we can click on the folder that extracting the image created, and then finally click on the VDI file or the virtual disk image file itself and click on Open. Finally, we just click on Create, and now we have a virtual machine for CentOS. Now we just need to start the virtual machine. We make sure the virtual machine is highlighted by clicking on it and clicking Start at the top of the screen, or you can even right-click the virtual machine, go to the Start menu, and do a normal start. Either way is just fine. So now we'll just let CentOS boot up. Once CentOS has booted up, you'll be presented with a login screen. To log in as the admin user, just click on the username and then enter in the password for that username, which happens to be admin user as well, and click Sign In. By the way, the username and password for the system will be supplied with the disk image. So if you happen to use a different disk image, look for the username and password combination that works with that particular image. The first time you log in, you'll be asked a couple of questions to complete the setup for the account. Here you choose your language. Mine is English, which is selected, and I'll just click Next. Next, select your keyboard. The default is English, and so that works for me. I'll click Next. And then finally, you can connect your online accounts, which I recommend just to skip at this time. Click Skip. And then finally, it says you're all set. You can start using CentOS now, so just click on Start Using CentOS. A Getting Started screen pops up, and you can watch these videos and read some of the documentation here to get an idea of how to navigate your way around the CentOS system. At this point, we can see that everything works, so I'm just going to go ahead and shut down the system. First, I'm going to close out of this Getting Started screen. Next, I'm going to go to the upper right corner and click there, and then I can click on the Power button. And then from here, I can choose to restart or power off, and I'm just going to power off. Now you have a Linux installation to use to complete this course as well as practice your Linux skills.